Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Bangalore, and in this episode we will look at the importance of growing an orchid in an orchid pot. So first, let us see what is the definition of an orchid pot. An orchid pot is any pot that has holes and gaps all around so that the roots of the orchids can breathe and the plant can thrive. So the ideal orchid pot according to me will be a terracotta pot like this, and I will in due course tell you why. So in this episode, we will be looking at repotting an orchid in such containers, and I will also give you some orchid tips on the way. So I purchased this Dendrobium orchid recently, and almost always these orchids come in plastic containers like this. Though transparent, the roots of the epiphytic orchid isn't getting any air circulation. So a pot like this with numerous holes will make sure that the roots of the orchid gets all the air in the world and the plant will therefore flourish. And with a material like terracotta, the roots not only get to breathe through these holes but also through these pores. Now for the repotting, take the plant out of its container and you can loosen the existing potting media if you want. So if you see your roots all green, it means that it has been well watered. A dry silvery root means the plant is bereft of water. For the potting mix, I'm using cocoa chips like this that you will easily get in any nursery these days. And then I will be adding some compost to enrich the potting media. And now place the plant inside the container. If you don't get cocoa bark, you can use broken clay pot pieces, brick, coconut husks, etc. Avoid using clayey soil. You can add cow dung or other manure if you want. Now water the roots of the plant and avoid watering the leaves and flowers because it could attract fungal diseases. Even if it gets fungal diseases like botrytis, neem oil pesticide can work like magic. And you can watch the video on making this pesticide by clicking the link above. Now, if you can hang this arrangement, then it's even better for the plant since the roots will dangle from the bottom and help the plant grow even better. Now for some quick blooming tips. Tip number 1, fertilizing. You can fertilize this plant every month by just adding compost. And what I do along with adding compost is that I use tea leaves or coffee grounds, banana peel to increase its blooming. Tip number 2 will be sunlight. Keep this under part shade conditions, and I've noticed that a southwest exposure triggers intense blooming in my orchids. North is a direction that may not produce as much orchid blooms as you would want. Tip number 3, watering. Water the roots of the plant every day because of the high porosity of the orchid media. Sometimes, due to the long-lasting nature of my orchid blooms, I feel a sense of perpetuality in their blooming. And guess who's not complaining? During winter time is when you can see your orchids blooming even more. So a reduction in the temperature does help your orchids bloom. But my dendrobiums bloom even during summer. So just like every rule has an exception, you can see here that I have grown these two orchids in this enclosed ceramic container. And they have done really well, but the problem is to find air. The plant has grown in such a way that the new stems have grown one above the other in their pursuit to find air. So this tells us that plants like us can adapt and learn from all the inadequacies that is thrown at it. So folks, I would advise you to shun plastic containers for your orchid and go for terracotta orchid pots that are both orchid and eco-friendly. So with this, we have come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Bangalore, and I really hope you've enjoyed this particular program. Additionally, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. So thank you for watching, and until we meet again, a very warm goodbye.